You support them with your arms. You're the stabilizing woman. You even help deliver babies of the royal lineage. During deliveries, you don't use anesthesia or even antiseptic. Just hot water and prayer. Prayer that the baby doesn't die in your arms. Because in the Forbidden City, nobody thanks the midwife for a safe delivery. You only get the blame for a dead baby. Another thing you've come to understand is that infant mortality is brutal. 4 in 10 boys die in the first year. For girls, it's more like 5 in 10. You learn this from experience. You're 30 now. Years of deliveries have robbed you of 15 years. In that time frame, you deliver 30 babies. 14 died within weeks. Each time, you're interrogated. You're asked questions like, what did you do wrong? Every time you answer, nothing. The baby was weak. Sometimes they believe you. Sometimes they don't. But you survive because you're good and lucky. You also select wet nurses for the surviving babies. You examine lactating women, age 16 to 20, 3 months postpartum. You check for diseases. The court knows breast milk can transmit illness. You check their skin, teeth, and family background. You select the healthiest. Then comes the cruelest part. You tell them the rule. They cannot bring their own children into the palace, and they're forbidden to leave. They must redirect all maternal care to the royal child. You watch these women weep. One begs you, please, my baby is only 4 months old. You say nothing. You select her anyway. Finally, you do forensic examinations. Female corpses are brought to you. Palace maids who fell from balconies. Concubines who choked on food. You examine them. You document. You know some were murders. Bruises in the wrong places. Strangle marks disguised as rope burns from accidents. But still, you write, natural causes. Your job isn't truth. It's discretion. You've seen more death than most soldiers. You sleep 4 hours a night. Your hands shake when you're alone. You've learned that while knowledge makes you dangerous, it's competence that keeps you alive. So you keep being good at your job. You're 35 when the Tianqi Emperor ascends the throne. He's 15 years old. He was one of the babies you helped deliver. His father was only emperor for a month after his grandfather. One evening, passing through a corridor, you overhear a palace eunuch talking to another. You hear them calling the emperor a boy that still smells of milk. That he has elevated his wet nurse, a woman named Madame Qi, over the court officials, and that he listens to her more than his own ministers. You also hear that Madame Qi and Wei Zongxiang, the head eunuch, have formed an alliance. People call it the Qi Wei regime, and together, they control the court. But you do the right thing by walking and pretending you heard nothing. 2 years after the emperor's coronation, you're assigned to attend the empress's pregnancy. She's 8 months along. You're assigned night shifts. You monitor her condition. Everything seems normal, so you prepare for the delivery. One day, the empress complains of back pain. You're preparing a compress when a woman arrives. She introduces herself as Madame Qi. She looks familiar, but in the Forbidden City, that is not strange. She tells you that she brings a monsieur and asks you to leave the room. She says they'll care for the empress. You hesitate. She screams at you. You leave. You wait outside the door. For some reason, you still think about that face. But words like pressure, manipulation, and the empress's screams bring you back to reality. You try to go back in, but Madame Qi is at the door. She tells you to go back if you do not want to die. You don't want to die, so you go back. 2 hours later, you're called back in. The empress is bleeding. The baby is dead. Madame Qi looks at you. Natural miscarriage. Document it. You clean up the blood. You write the report. The next day, palace officials question you. They ask what happened. You tell them it was a miscarriage, that the Empress was in distress. They ask if anybody entered the room. You tell them that Madame Key did, but only to comfort the Empress. They watch your face. You don't flinch. You survive. Barely. That night, while lying on your bed, your mind drifts back to Madame Key's face. And then it hits you. You finally know where you met her. She was one of the girls you picked as a wet nurse in the past. She was the one who begged you, saying she had a 4-month-old son. You tremble. You fear that she remembers you and might want to take revenge. But sleep robs you of that worry. Over the next 2 years, this pattern continues. There are 3 more imperial pregnancies that end in miscarriage, and you were present for 2 of them. Each time, Madame Key or Wei Zhongxiang is nearby. Each time, you document it as natural causes. During that same time, you're ordered to examine one of the consorts. She's been imprisoned by Madame Key in her own palace. When you arrive, she's been stripped of her maids. Food has been restricted. You find her on the floor, skin hanging loose, eyes sunken. She grabs your wrist, begging for water. You look at the guard behind you. He shakes his head. "Just examine her," he says. You do. You write the report. You leave. 2 weeks later, she's dead. You examine her body. Starvation. You write illness. That night, you cry. You've become a murder accomplice. From that day, whenever you sleep, you dream of the Empress's screams, of the consort's pleas, and of babies chasing you. At that moment, you realize the truth. You're not a midwife anymore. You're a witness, and witnesses don't survive. For the next few years, you're involved in multiple palace schemes. You wonder if this is Madame Key's revenge on you. You also wonder when she plans on getting rid of you.